Jai Guruji, everyone. Good to be back.
Jai Guruji Auntie, welcome.
Thank you. So now we are on, I'll try and read slowly, chapter 18, and where I go back to Dubai after Sonakshi gets healed from her eye, from the accident that she encountered. So our days may be full of strife, but it is also a blessed life. Immediately on recovering, my daughters beckoned me to Dubai, as they too were daunted by the deplorable death toll rising in Delhi due to COVID. Airports were shut and no commercial flights were running. This is after I had COVID. After I recovered from COVID, rather. My daughters requested their cousins to allow me to fly with them on their chartered flight. Guruji was clearly at work, as they readily agreed when they honestly did not need to. I was relieved to hear, and 1 week prior, I had tested negative, and despite my weakness, I was ready to leave Delhi. The love and respect I was showered by Sonakshi and Nishka's relatives was unmatched, as they made me sit in the heart of the aircraft that was ultra luxurious. It was a Bentley of chartered flights, and I was eternally grateful to Guruji for enabling me to undergo this extraordinary experience. Every experience in life is important. So this was also one of the ultra luxurious experiences that Guruji granted me. So Sonakshi had moved to another apartment in the same building as Anishka's, and it was there I quarantined for a week before she moved in with me. Meanwhile, Anishka sent my meals regularly and ensured I was completely comfortable. My solitude period was blissful as I set up my small darbar in my new bedroom that Sonakshi had furnished so charmingly. Around that time, I was taking singing classes on Zoom. So alone, I sang bhajans without any inhibitions. Singing nourishes the soul, and I felt centered and calm despite being isolated from the outside world. Guruji has given me the ability to generate happiness wherever he plants me. Happiness is a fickle creature, as we understand it. Whilst it is constant companion to some, it hides herself completely from others. She is not an elusive creature to me or to those who have the gift of Guruji, faith, hope, and goodness in their lives. Our world is but a reflection of our minds and the thoughts we frequently entertain. Guruji has taught each one of us to engage in positive activities so the mind cannot be gripped by negativity that is bound to make us sink. We are able to weather the heaviest of storms when sailing on the boat of faith that unerringly keeps us afloat. In today's world, where Alzheimer's and dementia and all sorts of mental illnesses are reigning supreme, it really are on the rise. It is important for us to occupy our minds with creative, joyful activities. And it's up to us. The onus is on us to engage our minds in good. Even Guruji used to say, जो हम देखते हैं नेटफ्लिक्स पे ओटीटी प्लेटफॉर्म्स में वो भी असर होता है हमें. अगर हम हॉरर देख रहे हैं, नेगेटिव देख रहे हैं कुछ, तो वो परमिएट होगा ही होगा हमारे अंदर. तो हमें असर होएगा, हम बार बार वही दोहराते जाएंगे. तो इसलिए वो भी हम चूज करें लाइट हार्टेड इंस्पिरेशनल स्टोरीज which have a happy ending. The more time we practice sitting in silence also and stillness, it becomes easier to see the light and feel Guruji's love within. When the mind is clear and the heart is centered, we find harmony and happiness wherever we are. I was most definitely at peace now that I was again with both my daughters. I had ample time to dedicate myself in transforming my inner world through singing, reading, meditating, and art. I created numerous calligraphic Ganeshis during this period in the hope that someday I would exhibit them. There is nothing more exceptionally exciting than cultivating our inherent talents. When our inner world transforms, the outer world shifts gear from the ordinary to the extraordinary. It is important for each one of us to continue honing our skills, as by doing so, our mind, body, spirit is engaged and we are far removed from any negativity that is going around us. I know without a shadow of doubt that Guruji micromanages our lives and he does this painstakingly with each one of us. He asked only of one thing from us. Yaad kitta karo Rabnu. Remember God. Also trust him to be your sincerest well-wisher and mentor. आजकल की दुनिया में बहुत ज्यादा हीलर्स हैं, थेरेपिस्ट हैं, hypnotherapist भी है, बहुत सारा कुछ है. There's many healing modalities. Not that they are wrong, but Guruji is everything, all rolled into one. So जैसे हम गुरुजी को देखेंगे वैसे ही हमारा life impact होगा. Acknowledging his presence in our lives has 7 main benefits. As we take refuge in him, he protects us from harm's way and navigates us to be with people on the same path who aspire to awaken their divinity within. He knows our needs, and staying close to him is to have his good and perfect provision. We are then filled with compassion and empathy when we are close to the Almighty. We feel pain for people suffering and want them to feel the love that we feel for our God. Hence, we develop empathy for all living creatures. Sin is no doubt abominable to us, and we pray for those who suffer. Sarba Dabala Mango, Guruji said. Pray for others' well-being. Feeling Guruji in our hearts makes us cheerily content. Life may spill with strife. Sabki life में problems आती हैं. The highs and lows, proverbial highs and lows, are an inevitable part of life. Everyone goes through the proverbial highs and lows. Kabhi acha to kabhi bura, kabhi rain to kabhi shine. This is the duality of life will always exist. Feeling Guruji in our hearts makes us cheerily content. Life makes with strife, but it also overflows with blessings. Whatever we focus on is what will grow. So if we focus on the scarcity in our lives, then it's scarcity that will bloom. But if we focus on the abundance in our lives, then that is bound to expand and grow. And as I said yesterday, as mentioned, that gratitude is a very potent prayer. And the universe really responds to it. The more grateful we are in our hearts, the more we fill ourselves with gratitude from the smallest to the most significant things in our lives, the more the universe gives us. Knowing he is there, Guruji is there to surmount our difficulties, makes the ride smoother. The best counsel and guidance comes from him, and it is always in silence that his voice is heard. तभी कहते थे साइलेंस रखो सत्संग आवते और घर में बैठ के भी जब आप याद करते हो undistractedly याद करो. The 7th benefit is that while showing us the path to salvation, he fills our cup with boundless blessings. कई tangible होती हैं, some are intangible, some are visible, some are invisible. But truly, when we compare our life's canvas today to say even 6 months ago, 12 months ago, we realize how much he has blessed us. Making his acquaintance has been the most enduring, encouraging, and euphoric one ever. Chapter 19, now I go back to Delhi. He's making me shuttle between Delhi, Dubai, Kashmir for a while. This is when he sends me back to Delhi. Attending satsangs, mall walking, and reading primarily at Dubai Mall and meeting up with friends for coffee became integral to my routine. Anishka and Sunakshi work in their respective fields all day, and in the evenings we met up for canal walks or dinner at home. As much as we all enjoy dining out, we by and large prefer home prepared meals. Guruji used to say, Jaisa an, vaisa man. We are what we eat. हर चीज विच मिलावट होनी है अगे जाके देखी तू ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਸਮਝ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਏਗੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਖਾ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ everything will be adulterated. You won't even know what you're eating. So preparing simple home food also contributes to our mental, physical, and spiritual health. Simple diet rakhiye. It becomes important to simplify our eating habits, and in disproportionately eating out raises the risk of health conditions. Again, balance is the key. Ye nahi Guruji ne kaha tha baar mat khao, but balance. Everything is about balance with Guruji. The middle road, the middle path. Anishka began holding monthly satsangs at home, much to my delight, and that materialized without a word of encouragement from me. This illustrates how Guruji takes charge of our children's lives. Hence, we never need to worry as much as we tend to, especially as much as I tend to. Their relationship with Guruji is pure and practical. Actually, this is for me. I worry endlessly about my girls. And I think most of the people listening in today will be able to relate that even when there's nothing to worry about, I cultivate a worry. Their relationship with Guruji is pure and practical, and they need not illustrate their love by attending satsangs frequently. They are connected to him through their conduct and the course of life that they have charted for themselves. Their tenacity in all aspects of life is so admirable to our generation because they are focused and they are completely in tune with their aspirations and inspirations. They have a clarity that our generation seemingly lacks. My generation is still governed by certain biases. Our life experiences and the doctrines passed on by our parents, ancestors, or even society have molded us the way we are. Hence, we have to unlearn some of the religious doctrines inculcated in us and be practical, like Guruji used to say. Vehem or ahem dur karanaya, to say simple role, spiritual role. Simplicity and spirituality is the highest ideal. Our children's mindset is as clear as day and have no previous influences as such. They relate to Guruji in a very easy and simplistic manner, and because of their purity in faith, he continues to oversee their life's path. In this regard, we as parents need to relinquish control. As it is not us who govern their lives, but a higher power that knows what's best for them, which he delivers on his calendar, his timing, his plans. We must trust. When Guruji said, मैं तेरे हत्था दे लकीरा और मत्थे दे लकीरा बदल दित्तियां ने, I have altered the lines on the palm of your hands and on your forehead. When he did that for me, I'm certain he did the same for my girls. He stated in his words that he rewrites destinies. I believe he altered the course of my daughters' lives and their journeys. I could never imagine he would pave their paths into the field of wellness and yoga. Today, they are ambitious, hardworking girls with sound values. Hence, I have largely dropped worrying about them, as I am confident that Guruji's plans for them are far superior than mine can ever be. सरेंडर कर जाओ और फिर देखो नजारे. Surrender and then see. The tide turns and the winds of change take us in a direction unimagined by us or our children. When he changes our time, the best of experiences befall us, from meeting incredible people to having off the beaten track experiences that further enhance the journey of our lives. In my mind, I have beckoned Guruji for extensive travel and to meet extraordinary intellectuals on a more progressive spiritual page so that I too can learn from others. I have always been open to learning continuously from people who are richer both in wisdom and knowledge. An effective way to learn from others is by listening to certain elevated souls on podcasts. This can be illuminating and insightful. Reading books on soul journey is also elevating and makes us more endearing to our Guruji. Certain practices are always a game as they elucidate questions that we may have. All practices, ये नहीं कि हमने close-minded हो जाना है to other, teachings. I met last January, I had gone to Fujairah for Sri M retreat. You must have heard of Sri M. He's an enlightened master. And it was so amazing what all I learned from Sri M. Then I met Shishi Ravi Shankarji. And again, it was illuminating experience. So an open mind is something we must all keep and we learn. एक गुरु एक होता है नैया पार करने के लिए एक बोर्ड चाहिए but we respect others' fathers but we love only our father. And sometimes we learn from others' fathers' teachings. They may give us some gyan, they may give us some values that add value to our life. So an open mind is a growing mind. Coming back to my visa saga, ये visa saga खत्म ही नहीं हुआ था 2 साल के लिए 3 साल के लिए. I once again had to apply for an Indian visa to return home to Delhi. By this time, it was mid-October 21, and I was to attend a family wedding, which I did in the nick of time. Atika, my cousin Hapu's daughter, was getting married, and we celebrated with pomp and splendor, with my daughters also enjoying the wedding celebration. How happy I was for them, particularly, to be reunited with their entire family. It is always heartwarming to see family celebrating together. It was after a lengthy interval that the entire family reunited to rejoice in the delightful merriments. We were reaffirming our family bonds and being there for each other for the momentous occasions. It felt good returning to who we are intrinsically. I realized how much I missed Delhi, how much I missed family. When we are away and something is taken away from us, only then do we really value and understand and comprehend deeply the value of something. During the pandemic, people's mindset had altered, gaining an appreciation for human connection. Promises were also made to indulge less materially. I don't know how much that really worked out. And to focus more on their inner growth and perhaps to be more altruistic, adding value to the world, truly adding value. It was not about what can I gain, but what can I give. Since life was then about the outside in, it was easier to renounce certain indulgences, but on the world reopening, the promises made to strike a balance between the material and the spiritual were quickly forgotten by many. Human nature again, isn't it? Some had redefined their lives for the better, whilst others reverted to their old ways, and some had decided to drive their lives in top gear now, in the fast lane, as their entire philosophy lay on the foundations of the motto, live today as if there is no tomorrow. Almost every family, close or distant, had sadly lost one in the pandemic, and the grief either embittered them or emboldened them. So there are, obviously there's a melting pot of people and people's mindsets. And some learned, others didn't, and everyone has their journey. So to be non-judgmental is also imperative to our own growth. Because if we squander our time and energy on judging others, when are we going to work on ourselves? So it is us, our soul, that we really need to work hard on. Almost every family, sorry, the rat race is hard for some to pull out of. But for me, it's always been easy as I have never participated in the rat race. I've always been somewhat reclusive and have set my own standards with no comparison to anyone. Thank God. I am not insecure about ordinary, inevitable situations such as aging, my looks, my weight, or my position in life, as I'm deeply grateful to Guruji for driving my life in the direction he deems fit, for bringing the best people and experiences on my plate. To be overtly honest, when I stated that I had no life after December 97, when he stated that I had no life after December 97 and that he had extended it, I am truly grateful for every moment and every person that comes to teach me something. Success is relative. And with Guruji in my heart, I feel like the wealthiest and the most successful and the most beautiful woman in the world because his light shines within each one of us. So each one of us is beautiful. So celebrate your beauty, celebrate your success, celebrate the wealth of blessings that we have. Make a gratitude list and know that Guruji is there with each one of us. Thank you. So I will read maybe one more chapter. Then if anyone today would like question and answers, please be free to ask. Yesterday was a lovely session, and I hope you got the answers that you were looking for. Sometimes it's nice to have these spontaneous interactive sessions so that any questions can be answered to the best of my ability. So chapter 20, Bhopal, my favorite city in the world now, by the way, because it's simple and beautiful, with beautiful hearts living there. Wherever you go becomes a part of you somehow. It's so true that wherever we go. So when I went to Florence the very first time, when Sonakshi was studying there, she was doing a semester. She was actually studying in NYU, but they were given an option to take the semester anywhere in Europe, and she chose Florence. I had moved back to Manchester by then. And she used to say, Mom, come and visit me. It's not far from Manchester. From UK to Florence, it's not far. So when I went there for the first time and inhaling that air, I felt a sense of belonging, immediate sense of belonging. I felt this is home. So home, again, like I read in the previous chapter, home can be anywhere. As long as you're at home with yourself, you will feel at home, no matter where you are geographically. Immediately after the wedding, Atika's wedding, I flew to Bhopal to be with my friends there. Sapna Singhdeo and her most endearing family welcomed me with open arms and an even larger heart as usual. Their affection and warmth is unlike any other as they roll out the red carpet for me. I am humbled by this welcome. I had Sun from Canada accompany me, as I had urged her to come with me. And on arrival, I called Gunit Monga Kapoor, encouraging her to fly in too. It was all Guruji's plan, and the thought was planted in my head. I didn't ask them, I told them to come, and they obliged me. We were accommodated at the Jumana Retreat Hotel, which is my preferred place of stay, with its rustic surroundings and the smell of landscape enlivening my senses and elevating my spirits. It offers organic meals and marvelous massages to further heighten the experience. Across Bhopal, one gets to see a melange of different architecture from different royal periods, as well as a wealth of art treasures. The landscape is densely embellished with lakes, as if they had dropped from heaven as they glisten with ethereal light. I mean, as I speak, I'm missing Bhopal. The air is filled with unmistakable scent of calmness and contentment. The roads are orderly, and the drivers are certainly not as rash or aggressive like they are in Delhi. The environs, as well as the family, restore my soul like how, and refresh my mind each time I stay in Bhopal. It has become my hushed haven of peace, and on many occasions I have continued working on my previous books there in the confines of my room that opens up to the best that nature has to offer, lush and plush greens. People make the place, and besides the Singhdeo family, I became increasingly close to Robin and Pinky, who radiate exceptional warmth and kindness. Robin prepares the most delectable meals from scratch, from fresh produce from his garden, where I take a stroll before we sit under the clear, starlit skies, relishing the home cooked meal. Now you've got it that I love home cooked meal. Wherever I go, people, Sangat, are so kind and so generous and so accommodating that they will say, they'll offer, let's go to this restaurant, that restaurant, this hotel. I say, if possible, can I just have dal, sabji, and roti? It's like having langar wherever you go, in whose ever home you go. So the universe measures our accomplishments by the kindness, compassion, and love we show to others. And in this vein, Sapna, Aruneshwar, Robin, and Pinky are the most accomplished people with a rich heart and even more magnanimous personalities. I delight in the moments spent with salt of the earth families of Bhopal who offer love, peace, friendship, and novelty at another level. These travel experiences transcend life. Robin has a temple constructed in the sumptuous greens of his backyard that emits a transcendent energy. This further adds value to his already sublime garden that is well tended. In addition to growing his organic vegetables, he has his own bird sanctuary. I believe some of the birds I spotted were the kingfisher, spotted owls, woolly-necked stork, and many others. Adjacent to where he lives, there is a small safari on which Arun Singhdeo and Robin took us in a jeep. We spotted tigers, lions, and panthers, as well as reindeers and bears. Early evenings are spent driving through tree-lined avenues while soothing music is played in the car. Sometimes shabads, sometimes bhajans, sometimes filmy songs. But in all, we always feel Guruji's presence in every note. The exquisite experience of a few days every year is totally surreal for me. And I say this from the heart, and beside any other I have ever had. Essentially, Bhopal is a city of many lakes, and after Delhi's hazy and crazy noise, for me, this is a cool breeze on a scorching hot noon. Guneet, son, and I were presented an opportunity to share our satsangs as at Robin and Pinky's temple before Sapna and Ashwarya, her daughter, and Trishala, her daughter-in-law, arranged a large satsang in a banquet hall. Again, the three of us, Guneet, son, and I, shared from the heart. The energy of each satsang was phenomenal as Guruji took over, and it flowed with his sublime grace. I never remember what was shared. Most importantly, they tugged at the heartstrings of the Bhopal Sanghas. The deep truths shared resonated with each soul, illuminating questions that we all ponder for years. Being given a sacred platform to share one's experiences is actually the most sublime feeling and needs to be done conscientiously. And when I say it needs to be done conscientiously, sharing has to be crisp, clear, concise. So Guruji used to say, short is to now, because he knew Otherwise, people will ramble on. Like I said in previous chapters when I was sharing, बारिश हो रही सी, umbrella नहीं मिला मुझे, मेरा खाना, मैंने चाय रखी हुई थी गैस में, हाँ, फिर मेहर सुधाते हैं. And then मेहर में भी बहुत rambling होती है, बहुत trimmings होती हैं, there's so much of embellishments, but those embellishments are not necessary. Clear, crisp, and concise is the key to sharing satsangs so that Sangat gets the essence of it. And that is important. कि गुरुजी ने मुझे स्किन कैंसर ठीक किया, अस्थमा ठीक किया, ऑटोइम्यून डिजीज ठीक किया, गुरुजी की मेहर हर चीज में, कण कण में हमारी लाइफ में बसी हुई है. So let us be very clear, crystal clear, so that Sangat gets draws the essence of the satsang. It is of paramount importance to speak naturally, effectively, and in context to only faith. Concisely and precisely is what we need to keep into consideration, or we lose the attention of the listener. Particularly in today's attention deficit times, it becomes more relevant in keeping our satsangs crisp and curtailed. Very recently, too, I went to Bhopal with my cousin Meenu Pasi, and she too was enchanted by the place and its people who exude nothing but goodness. We are all so rich in inestimable blessings and have a wealth of good people who nourish our soul. We must, in fact, become conscious of the people who are in our lives and send them a silent prayer today of gratitude. We take people around us also for granted, sometimes our own children, our spouse, our mothers, our fathers, our best friends, people who are there for us, even Sangat, we take for granted. And we forget that they are the true pearls in our life's oyster. I come away from Bhopal drenched in love and with the feeling that I'm leaving a piece of me behind. It is always a mesmeric, memorable trip filled with a bouquet of beautiful stories. I feel radiant, relaxed, and in rhythm as I come away. Some people look for a beautiful place. Others make the place beautiful. If you want, I can actually read one more before we have the Q&A. Is that okay, Ekta? It's only 12:30 right now, so we have ample
Sure,
time.
Aunty. Yeah, sure.
It's 12:30. And I hope, Sangeetji, please give your hands up. You're enjoying, and I'm not reading too fast today. And I am completely in sync with you guys. So it's always nice to get that encouragement, little bit of encouragement, because I don't know where I'm going, where I'm navigating. Okay, this is a very important one, chapter 21. The power of the tongue. हम अपनी जुबान से बहुत गर्म बनाते हैं, कई बार harsh बोल लेते हैं without realizing. कई बार हम without actually taking a pause, we just say things indiscriminately or inadvertently to hurt others. So the power of the tongue is something that we must control. If heaven is not within us, we will not be able to enter it. So heaven is within us. सब कुछ हमारे अंदर है. Heaven, hell, they say lower worlds, higher worlds, सब कुछ हमारे अंदर है. Narak, Svarag. So the service we do first and foremost is to cleanse our own past karmas, lift our vibration, and to nurture our soul. When done with humility and selflessness, he enables us to advance on the path. We know that we are on the right path when our thoughts and deeds begin to change for the better. So क्या हुआ जब मैं पहले आई गुरुजी के पास and मुझे बहुत ज्यादा तकलीफ थी from skin cancer to life threatening asthma, तो obviously मेरी thought process जो थी सिर्फ मेरे health पे जाती थी, मेरे broken marriage पे जाती थी. It was all negative. My mindset was very, very constrained and very disturbed. So लेकिन मैंने realize किया and I was very reactive. So जब आते आते लंगर खाते गुरुजी के ओर में बैठ के आते आते through regularity, consistency and commitment के साथ बाद में मैंने realize किया कि मैं reactive हुई नहीं अब, मैं respond कर रही हूँ situations को, मैं react नहीं कर रही. So जो inner cleansing होती है ना वो पहले होती है, फिर outer में नजर आता है कि वो बहुत कुछ बदल गया. जब हम बदल जाते हैं तो दुनिया बदल जाती है. तो लेकिन वो गुरुजी ही करते हैं, हम नहीं कर सकते। हम कितनी कोशिश कर ले, अवेयरनेस भी वही लाते हैं एंड देन चेंज भी वही लाते हैं. Certain equanimity is attained within us on coming to Guruji regularly. We begin to actually walk the talk and not talk down on others for what they ought or not ought to be doing, but instead we lead by example. That's the best way to live. Otherwise, it's hypocrisy. If our words don't meet our actions and our actions don't meet our words, then it's hypocrisy. We must live in alignment with what we say. What we say, we must do. So walk the talk. That said, our words are as powerful as our thoughts. हम कहते हैं power of the thought, positive socho, but positive bolo also. Because words follow thoughts, and then action follows words. And then destiny follows our actions. So it is believed that life goes in the direction of our words. What we say is our prophecy. Hence, we eat the fruit of our words as much as we eat the fruit of our deeds. Just as the rudder controls a large ship, so the tongue sets the direction of our life. Guruji said, Changa socho, changa bolo, or changa bano. Think good, speak good, and be good. My mother underlined this to us whilst we were still children. The power of the tongue. She taught me to use the words I can and I will. She, in a sense, encouraged me to use increasing, growing, abundant words that develop a growth mindset instead of the ones that define scarcity and lack. Negative self-talk is common. It's common with all of us. मैं मोटी हो गई हूँ, मैं पतली ज्यादा हो गई हूँ, मेरी स्किन अच्छी नहीं लग रही, मेरे कपड़े नहीं अच्छे लग रहे, मैं ही अच्छी नहीं हूँ. And it's normalized in everyday parlance. Too fat, too thin can never win. Conversely, when I say I look and feel great with a can do attitude, then our expression meets the experience. The language we use matters as it influences our attitude and aptitude. Since I scratched my skin vigorously from childhood to adulthood to gain relief from eczema and to take regular inhalers, my mum would urge me to repeat to myself, and a mama in Punjabi used to say, "Bolekar main theek haan, main healthy haan. I am well, I am healthy, and I have beautiful skin." She knew about affirmations and self-fulfilling prophecies before I myself delved deep into them in my teenage years. Complimenting people is a gift I received from her. She would tell me that I look pretty, even when I knew I didn't. It was her way of lifting my spirits. So I too have learned to transmit to others a feel good energy to make them feel good about themselves. It becomes from a place of sincerity. So you always have something genuinely sincere to say to somebody. It's not fake, it's not false. कुछ कभी उनके बाल अच्छे लग रहे होते हैं, कभी कपड़े अच्छे लग रहे होते हैं, जेन्युइनली कुछ ना कुछ तो होता है उनके बारे में, या उनकी आवाज आपको अच्छी लगती है, उनकी soft spokenness, whatever. So there's always something to say to somebody to lift their spirits, to have a better day. Guruji insisted we share the grace that he has showered on us and not preach to others. Sharing the grace elevates the listener, inculcating faith in them before they eventually bow in positive surrender. This is also a great service. The greatest service, in fact, is to connect people to divinity. Service is not sacrifice, but an act that has much honor. And it is the life that has impacted others that makes our own lives worthwhile. जब हम किसी बंदे को, नए बंदे को, you feel it, you know it, कि जब हम नए बंदे को लेके जाते हैं बड़े मंदिर, या सत्संग लेके जाते हैं पहली बार, तो और वो कितना खुश होते हैं और कितना हमें थैंक करते हैं और ब्लेस करते हैं. तो दैट इज द ग्रेटेस्ट सर्विस दैट यू कैन डू. गुरु जी यूज्ड टू से संगत जोड़ो, क्योंकि हमारा टाइम अब तो आ गया. वो तो उन्होंने 20-25 साल पहले बोला था कि आ रहा है, पर वो तो वी नो, ऑल ऑफ अस नो दैट नाउ वी लिविंग इन द मोस्ट difficult and dreary times possible, and therefore it's important to keep our vibration as high as possible. So service is not sacrifice, but an act that has much honor. And it is a life that has impacted others that makes our own lives worthwhile. One of my most inspiring quotes is, "You must not let your life play out in the ordinary way. Do something nobody else has ever done. Show the world that God's creative principle works in you." How beautiful is this? So, ordinary बनना तो बहुत easy है. Extraordinary होना with Guruji's grace and kuch karna. Action is very important. Even in the Gita says, तू अपने कर्म कर दे जा, फल दी इच्छा ना कर. So फल तो गुरुजी देते हैं और हमारे सोच और कैपेसिटी से बहुत ज्यादा देते हैं. But we need to again trust. अपने कर्म करते जा, फल की इच्छा ना कर. एक दिन वो फल आएगा. नहीं भी आया तो वो भी गुरुजी की मर्जी. लेकिन अपना करते जाओ. A world without faith is definitely a world in darkness and dejection. But a world with faith moves to the higher ideal. Humanity becomes our one and true religion, as all religions teaches love and compassion for all. But today, for the convenience of the people and those in power who thrive on control, all holy books are misinterpreted to suit them. Humanity has become inconvenient to those in power. Guruji teachings broke the shackles of religion that restrain us and restrict us, confining us in apprehension and superstition. Guruji is a practical guru who always said, "मैं practical दिखा रहा दोनों कि रब है." He emphasized on thinking, being, and speaking positive, and most importantly, endeavoring to be an honest human. He, in fact, encourages to be progressive rather than regressive. Hence, it is vital not to allow old, non-serving thoughts and habits to prevail. On getting our mind right, the world will be right for us. On regularly allotting time for him, our soil becomes fertile, and he plants new seeds of thought, word, action. Our flourishing minds then inspire others to do the same. We are all here to walk each other home. In the end, it is Sangat and people we meet, enlightened masters round the globe, who are giving us, hand holding us, and taking us closer to the light, to Guruji's light. While sharing our satsangs, I have learned from him to keep it crisp, concise, and clear. He was not in favor of trimmings or embellishments in our narratives. Interpreting dreams or interpreting signs can preferably be avoided. Seeking his imprints and finding them on his Gadi in satsangs is a blessing, of course, but it is not the eventual goal of the soul to seek him outside of us as he sits in the seat of our soul. At times, Sangat may feel less of a devotee when they fail to see the same signs as other devotees, expressing rapture on seeing Guruji on the Gadi or receiving his fragrance. वो फ्रेग्रेंस कभी खाली आपको आती है, किसी और को नहीं आती, तो इसका ये नहीं मतलब कि बाकी सब ब्लेस नहीं हो रहे, पर वो खास आपके लिए. It is of paramount importance to connect the heart to his presence in the satsang and to trust that he is there for each one of us. The greatest sign he gives us is the tangible changes he brings into our lives, and that is the strongest evidence of his presence. The journey of the individual devotee is to gradually seek within, and it is one's own solitary one. Therefore, he emphasized, strengthen and deepen your connection with me. With Guruji, it is eventually about the soul. He most definitely sees that we are materially comfortable before he embarks us on the spiritual voyage. And it is most certainly about the inside out. Devotion too is acquired through grace, and through grace, bliss is attained. Touching the feet of the so-called old Sangat and raising them on a pedestal may not be wise, as this will likely feed the ego of the Sangat, which is precisely the reverse of what we aspire to achieve, to devour the ego and to eat humble pie. Differences of opinion can be lodged, and that unfortunately defeats the object of being in that space to begin with. अपना direct connection बनाओ, Guruji used to say. Jitni mootni baatein. So, never touch the feet of the old Sangat and say, oh, aap mile hoye hain, ya aap mujhe hug kar do. अपना कनेक्शन बनाओ, चाहे हम मिले या नहीं मिले, गुरुजी आपके साथ हैं। एंड जो नई संगत का कल्याण कर रहे हैं गुरुजी कहते कि नवी संगत तो मैनू सीधा रब समझ लेगी, तो जो नई संगत का कल्याण कर रहे हैं वो कुछ और ही लेवल है। सो नेवर थिंक कोई नया कोई पुराना है, कोई चंगा है कोई माहिर है, गुरुजी को सब पता है कौन किस क्लास में है। He insisted we drop our ego along with our shoes before entering a satsang. Sir niva or matuchi. He said, bow your head low in humility and keep your intellect high. On realizing that certain Sangat is misguiding the other, we must not subscribe to such behavior. It is vital to understand that neither can a Sangat be a meditator between Guru and devotee, and neither can he or she be a messenger. Apna direct connection banao. He would stress this so much. Make your own connection, he emphasized and overemphasized, and have complete trust in it. It is hard to box connection in a single definition, as it has different connotations to different people. Every devotee perceives him differently in a different guise, and rightfully so, as God appears to the devotee as he is perceived by them. He insisted on us being kind hearted in nature to all living beings, regardless of their complexion or religious orientation. He wanted us to be strong in character, as life inevitably has startling setbacks, and we must calmly overcome them and be altogether a decent human who refrains from doing harm to others in words and deeds. Keeping our hearts clean of any kind of malice is crucial to our spiritual growth. मन होवे चंगा ते नलके दा पानी भी गंगा, he said. मन साफ रखो ना, मैं उत्थे बसया होया. If the heart is clean, then even tap water is equivalent to the holy Ganges River. The last but not the least for this afternoon, living with heightened self-awareness enables us to monitor our own reactions and responses to challenging situations that arise in the Sangat also. We either respond with calmness or react with commotion. Operating from a higher level and choosing to take the high road enables us to transcend many trivialities that do not serve us and, in fact, hamper our spiritual evolvement. The Sangat is growing, as we all know, at a rapid pace across the globe. And there are bound to be differences in outlook. But if we focus on what bonds us rather than what divides us, then we are on the right track. We need to all together be anchored in faith. We are all, each one of us, a link of a larger chain and need to learn to coexist as Sangat and as citizens of the world. Jai Guruji. Thank you. Wow, we read 4 chapters, but they were short chapters. And I hope you all enjoyed and the takeaway was good. So yes, I'm ready today for a